Welcome to Cash Flow Forecasting, Tips for Turbulent Times. My name is Neil Brown, Executive Director of the Controllers Council. And before we get started, a couple of housekeeping items. First, use your GoToWebinar control panel to ask questions. Second, we'll have 3 polling questions, so please use the GoToWebinar control panel to vote and benchmark against your peers. And finally, a frequently asked question, you will receive an email with a link to this webcast archive, so no need for notes or screenshots. So with that, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our sponsor. Centage is the leading cloud FP&A platform for advanced reporting, detailed budgeting, and accurate forecasting. With more than 10,000 users, Centage is quick to set up and easy to use. For more information, visit www.centage.com. So with that, I'm very pleased to introduce our panelists. John Murdoch is President and CEO of Centage, with 20 years of technology experience, including Juniper Networks, Kaspersky Labs, and Quick Pivot. He earned a BS Engineering from Northeastern University and an MBA from Boston University. Next, Mike Matthews is Director of Sales Enablement at Centage with over 10 years of FP&A experience. Mike earned a BA in Finance and a BS in Economics from Westfield State University. John and Mike, welcome.
Thank you, Neil. Great to be here and such a pleasure to meet with everybody today. So thank you all for tuning in to the discussion today. And the topic is cash flow forecasting, tips for turbulent times. And I'd like to kind of cover the agenda for today. Certainly, as you think about the turbulent times that we're in, here we are again. There's certainly a lot for all of us to navigate through and decisions for us to make. So today, we're going to really kind of hone in on the topic of cash flow forecasting and some of the common limitations that we see in the 10,000 users that we work with around creating accurate cash flow forecasts and projections around their business. We're going to talk a little bit about demonstrating the need for real-time insights and agile processes in your financial reporting and performance tracking processes. And of course, we're going to explain how to evolve and to drive more accurate cash flow forecasts through automation. And I'm joined by Mike Matthews today, and he'll have a nice short demo for everybody a little bit later in the discussion.
Excellent. So with that, let's get to our first polling question, and that is, what tool does your organization use for planning and forecasting? So let me launch this poll. What tool does your organization use? Software, homegrown, Excel, and we don't do forecasting. So please vote early and often, like they do in Chicago, and compare yourselves to your peers. All right, we've already got 80%, so that was quick. So let's go ahead and close that poll and share the results. Any thoughts on these results, gentlemen?
Yeah, interesting. So quick question and quick results, and not surprising. Most of businesses today are still using Excel for supporting and driving their planning and forecasting. So it looks like some of you are using homegrown, and only 16% are using software. So thank you for that. We're certainly going to talk about some advancements that can help your companies and your process.
All right, let's move on.
So I'd like to start with the reality of running a business. So I'm not only the CEO here at Centage, I also run a business. I run our business, and business and the world continues to kind of move at a faster and faster pace. I've been around for 25 years in the corporate world, and almost every week, every month, things seem to be picking up in terms of the pace. And the world certainly has changed, and the economy continues to evolve. And challenges are presented to business leaders and finance teams like yourself, as we go. And look at the last several years. I mean, we've had certainly our fair share of challenges to face as business leaders to navigate. And here we are again on potentially the beginning of what could be a recession starting to emerge. So there's a lot of challenges out there that we've had to navigate. Maybe we're still navigating some of these, like supply chain shortages. Those have been around for a while. They may be affecting your business in different ways. Inflation has started to really creep in over the last several quarters. We've all been, I think, dealing with remote work and trying to navigate that appropriately and support it well. And there's certainly a tight labor market. And all of this is, was really kind of brought on by the pandemic. However, we were really at the end of, really a 10 or a 12-year bull market and growth wave. And I think, as everyone here appreciates, there is a business cycle, and you go through contraction, through recession, and then you go through growth phases. A 10 to 12-year growth phase is typically a long time. So I think we're now going into a business cycle where there might be some contraction. How long that lasts, we don't know. Certainly, no one can tell the future, but I think our jobs as business leaders and as finance leaders is to really navigate our businesses through that and keep our businesses healthy. So if you look at an interesting answers on the poll question, so 71% of you said you're still using Excel to manage your business. And hey, Excel is a great tool. I mean, we still use it. It has its purpose, and certainly has served the business world very well over the last 30 plus years. And our point of view here at Centage clearly is that the tools of the last 30 years have really become outdated. If you think about formulas and formula logic and broken links and lookup tables and security issues with data living in spreadsheets, and that getting emailed around your organization, your users are trying to find the right version of the truth. They find there's an error in it, and of course your data and information is not secure. So although Excel and spreadsheets have served us well, there's a new wave of technology adoption and potential to really help businesses and to really not only help you navigate the pressures and the demands, but really kind of streamline your operations, streamline your business. And so we plan to talk about that today. If you think about spreadsheets, spreadsheets certainly, they really can't keep up. Why is that? What makes spreadsheets, not able to, really be a business management, a platform or suite? And there's quite a few reasons. First is, the functionality is limited. You have to build formulas, you have to build out calculations. All of that requires knowledge and skill, and if done wrong, you can make errors. Those numbers in spreadsheets, they tend to be static. Once you've created that report and circulated it around, business is running 24 hours a day, so they're immediately out of date. And they're also it's very difficult with spreadsheets, as we all know, to kind of really get into the insights, to really drill down, to really drill through, to analyze things from different angles takes a lot of manual intervention. And those insights are there, it's in your business, it's in your data, but they are hidden, and often they're hidden from the business stakeholders, those closest to your business. So mostly as you think about spreadsheets, they just don't scale, and as the business continues to drive a faster and faster demand for what they need, your team, finance teams are being asked to produce more. Spreadsheets are having a really hard time keeping up. They're also hard to use. If you're not familiar with Excel and you're not trained in Excel, if you're just an average business user out there in the company and you're not an Excel whiz, Excel can be a bit daunting to understand, to navigate, or to make sense of. certainly can be straightforward. Cells in a grid are pretty straightforward, but to really unlock insights and make decisions could be difficult. And then clearly there's, point number 5 here, there's no automation. So, all of these areas, have come a long way in terms of technology and what you can automate and how the things that you can do today in, in terms of cloud software are really amazing and have really grown in the last several years, incredibly well, probably with some help from the pandemic to really accelerate innovation. And so we'll talk